Elara lived in a perpetual state of fear. Every day felt like a battle against an unseen enemy, a relentless force that gnawed at her soul. Her heart, a captive bird in her chest, fluttered with every creak of the floorboards, each sound echoing through the empty halls like a sinister whisper. Every rustle of leaves against her windowpane sent shivers down her spine, a constant reminder of the world outside that she could never escape. She was alone, utterly alone, in the sprawling, desolate manor that had been her prison since birth. The walls seemed to close in on her, the silence deafening. The townsfolk spoke of a curse, whispered her name with pity and terror in the same breath. They avoided the manor, fearing the darkness that resided within. They said she was touched by darkness, haunted by something ancient and evil. The stories grew with each passing year, painting her as a figure of dread. They were right to fear her. She feared herself. Every reflection showed a stranger, a haunted soul trapped in a never-ending nightmare. For Elara harbored a secret, a terrifying truth that clawed at the edges of her sanity. It was a burden she could never share, a darkness that consumed her. She was drawn to the shadows, to the cold, to the things that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. The darkness called to her, a siren song she couldn't resist. She was drawn to him, the figure in the shadows, the embodiment of her fears and desires, the one who held the key to her haunted heart. He came to her in the dead of night, a whisper of cold air against her skin, a fleeting shadow against the moonlit wall. His name was Nosferatu, and he was everything she both feared and craved. He was darkness personified, his eyes pools of endless night, his touch a promise and a threat. His presence filled her with a mixture of terror and exhilaration, a cocktail of emotions that both terrified and intoxicated her. He spoke to her of forgotten times, of ancient powers, of a love that transcended life and death. His words were a siren song, luring her closer to the edge of the abyss. And she, the haunted girl, the lonely soul, found herself falling, willingly, into the depths of his darkness. Their meetings became a nightly ritual, a secret dance in the shadows where the moonlight barely touched their hidden world. He, the creature of the night, and she, the haunted girl, bound together by an invisible thread spun from darkness and desire. Their connection was as mysterious as it was undeniable, a bond that defied the natural order. He fed on her fear, drawing strength from her terror, and she, in turn, found solace in his presence, a perverse comfort in his embrace. It was a twisted symbiosis where her dread became his sustenance, and his touch became her sanctuary. He promised her eternity, a life beyond the confines of her lonely existence. The allure of an endless night, free from the chains of mortality, was too tempting to resist. He offered her power, immortality, a taste of the forbidden, the promise of strength and eternal youth, a life where she could transcend her human limitations. All he asked for in return was her love, her complete and utter devotion. A small price, it seemed, for the gifts he bestowed upon her, and Elara, blinded by her infatuation, her heart intoxicated by his dark allure, readily agreed to his terms. She was captivated by his enigmatic presence, unable to see the darkness that lay beneath his promises. She made a pact with the devil, an unholy alliance that sealed her fate and unleashed a wave of horror upon the land. The consequences of her decision would ripple through the ages, a testament to the dangers of forbidden love and the price of eternal darkness. But Nosferatu's hunger was insatiable. It grew with every stolen kiss, every whispered promise, every drop of fear he drew from her trembling soul. He craved more than just her love, more than just her life force. He desired her very essence, her soul, her humanity. He wanted to make her his, to bind her to him for eternity, to turn her into a creature of the night, a reflection of his own darkness. And Elara, her mind clouded by his influence, her will slowly eroding under his touch, found herself powerless to resist. She was caught in his web, a fly ensnared in the sticky threads of a spider's trap, her fate sealed the moment she had looked into his eyes and whispered his name. The town, once a place of simple joys and sorrows, became shrouded in an oppressive fear. Shadows seemed to stretch longer, the nights grew colder, and an unnatural silence descended upon the land. Whispers of the unholy pact between the haunted girl and the creature of the night spread like wildfire, carried on the wind that moaned through the skeletal trees surrounding the manor. The townsfolk, once curious, now avoided the manor, their fear palpable, their gazes filled with a mixture of pity and dread. But Elara was oblivious to their terror, lost in her own world of darkness and desire. She was consumed by Nosferatu, her every thought, every breath, every heartbeat attuned to his. One night, as the moon hung heavy and full in the sky, Nosferatu revealed his true nature to Elara. Gone was the illusion of humanity, the mask of charm he had worn to seduce her. In its place was a creature of pure darkness, a nightmare given form. His eyes blazed with an unholy fire, his skin was as pale as death, and his fangs, long and sharp as shards of glass, glinted in the moonlight. Elara, for the first time, saw him for what he truly was, a monster. But it was too late. The pact had been made, the price agreed upon. She was his, body and soul. Terror, pure and primal, seized Elara's heart. She tried to pull away, to break free from his grasp, but his hold on her was too strong. He drew her close, his laughter a chilling echo in the stillness of the night. He sank his fangs into her neck, a searing pain shooting through her veins. She felt her life force draining away, replaced by something cold and alien. Her vision blurred, her screams dying in her throat as she slipped into the abyss, her humanity fading with each passing moment. Section 8. Descent into Madness. The transformation was slow and agonizing. Elara felt herself changing, her body becoming a stranger to her. Her reflection in the mirror was no longer her own. Her skin, once vibrant, was now as pale as moonlight. Her eyes, once filled with warmth, now burned with an unnatural light. She was no longer Elara, the haunted girl. She was something else, something monstrous. She was Nosferatu's creation, a creature of the night, forever bound to him by her own misguided love and his insatiable thirst. Section 9. A town in terror. The town lived in terror. Livestock were found drained of blood, their carcasses strewn across the fields like macabre offerings to an ancient god. People whispered of a dark figure that stalked the night, its eyes burning with an unholy light. The townsfolk, their fear reaching fever pitch, stormed the manor, torches held high, their faces contorted in a mixture of rage and terror. They were determined to end the reign of the creatures that haunted their land, their hearts filled with a desperate hope that they could somehow undo the evil that had been unleashed. Section 10. Breaking the chains. But they were too late. Nosferatu, fueled by Elara's life force, was now more powerful than ever. He fought back with a ferocity that terrified even the bravest among them. The townsfolk, outmatched and outmaneuvered, fell one by one, their screams echoing in the night. Elara watched in horror as the man she had once loved, the monster she had become, unleashed his fury upon the people she had known all her life. And in that moment of utter despair, something within her snapped. Section 11. Echoes of the Past. In the stillness of the night, the echoes of a tragic love story reverberate through the ancient walls of the Gothic mansion. The love that had bound her to Nosferatu, a love that once seemed eternal and unbreakable, had been twisted and corrupted by the dark forces that surrounded them. What was once a pure connection, transformed into a burning rage. She turned on him, her heart filled with a mixture of sorrow and fury, her own newfound powers erupting within her, powers she never knew she possessed. Their battle shook the very foundations of the manor, the ancient structure groaning under the strain of their supernatural clash, the clash of darkness against darkness illuminating the night sky with an eerie glow. In the end, it was Elara, driven by a desperate hope for redemption and a desire to end the torment, who struck the final blow. She destroyed Nosferatu, her heart heavy with the weight of her actions, banishing him back to the shadows from whence he came, the darkness swallowing him whole. But her victory was a hollow one. She was forever changed, her soul scarred by the battle, forever marked by the darkness she had embraced, a constant reminder of the price she paid. The haunted girl was gone, replaced by a creature of the night, a being caught between two worlds, forever struggling with her dual nature. She stood alone, a solitary figure in the Gothic landscape, her heart a tomb of shattered love and eternal regret, forever caught between the light and the dark, unable to fully belong to either. her heart a tomb of shattered love and eternal regret, a constant reminder of what she had lost and what she had become. The tale of Elara and Nosferatu became a cautionary legend, a story told to warn others of the dangers of forbidden love, whispered from generation to generation, a reminder of the seductive allure of darkness and the devastating consequences of unchecked desire. The seductive allure of darkness, a force that can consume even the purest of hearts, and the devastating consequences of unchecked desire, a lesson that echoes through the ages, a warning to all who dare to tread the path of darkness.